Hello everybody. In today's video I talk about umpires. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'd like to talk about not the actual game itself or the players, but the officials, the umpires. Now I'm not talking about the professional umpires, the ECB or ICC umpires, the ones that you see on TV. I'm talking about the people that turn up, will give up their Saturdays and Sundays, sometimes evenings during the midweek, to come and help us officiate this game that we love. Now, what I would like to say from the start is that I also spent a couple of years as an umpire, so I do have some relevant experience. But again, that's not what I'm really wanting to concentrate on today. I just want to throw out there and just get you to think about what a term that we use in cricket as the spirit of the game, and park that just for a few minutes while I just finish this spiel. So if you're a club cricketer like I was, like many of my friends still are, you'll be used to seeing this on a Saturday or Sunday. When you turn up for your game, the umpires are normally there, and there's normally two of them. There might only be one, and that's a different issue. But like I said, these are the people that give up their time for a small amount of compensation, really, and they're there for the full game and help us keep everybody in line and let us apply the rules of the game. So if you're a league cricketer like I was, and many of my friends still are, you'll be used to seeing probably the same set of umpires or a small selection of umpires turn up to your games on a Saturday, Sunday, or even during midweek. Now, I just want to throw it out there that the value that umpires can bring to a game is without measure, really. They are an essential part of the amateur game, and I can almost describe them as volunteers. In effect, they do get a little bit of compensation, I believe, certainly in my league, which was South Yorkshire League. Umpires would give up their time, and we're pretty much talking all Saturday or all Sunday for what was back then probably £30 or £40 of their time. They might, if they were lucky and the club captain likes them, they might get a tea, they might even get a pint after the game. But ultimately, they're not turning up for the money, they're turning up for the love of the game. And although it seemed, sort of when I was playing, that when an umpire turned up, I always thought there was a minimum. It sounds wrong to say this, but it sounds like there must have been some sort of minimum age eligibility, because everybody was turning up. We're sort of 65, 70 years old and long since retired from the game, and we're looking to give back. And I always really appreciated that. But when you look at umpires and the selection of umpires today, that's not the case. So we've got people from all walks of life. Race, religion, belief, sex, all that sort of thing. Got a wide variety of experience being brought to the game in an official capacity. And sometimes you'll only get one umpire. One won't turn up, or the league that manages the umpires, normally a committee, they haven't been able to supply two umpires that week. So that's a struggle. So one umpire generally has to do what we call both ends. And you normally get someone out of the batting team to umpire at square leg. I'll touch on that a little bit more in a second. And essentially, speaking as somebody who has umpired for a couple of years and done a couple of qualifications, ECB level 2 currently, although I haven't umpired for a few years, I can say that nobody turns up because they have to, and nobody turns up to do a bad job or give bad decisions. So what I wanted to do is just acknowledge, as we're sort of in March now, we're going to be starting the season in a few weeks. I wanted to give a shout out to the umpires and anybody watching this, just an ask really, and that's to consider the human beings that turn up and officiate our games through all the good intent they have. We all make dodgy decisions, we all get absolute howlers, stinkers, called for no balls when we never stepped anywhere near over the line, get triggered, caught behind when we weren't even close to it. Alternatively, we sometimes it feels like we flat bat something to the keeper, and the umpire doesn't pick up on it. I've certainly had shockers. We all have shockers, We will all be on the receiving end of bad decisions, but we'll also be on the end of good decisions. And it's important that we all remember that. And I think we just have to show that respect to the the human being that's standing behind the stumps at the bowler's end, of course, not the wicket keeper. So I remember being on the end of some real howlers. But as an umpire, I do remember one incident where I thought I was fairly competent. And when you go through umpire training, some sort off on campus sort of training, when you go away for a couple of days and you play out scenarios, you have proper training, ECB come in and you go through a sort of level 2 qualification. It's really drilled into you that assessing every outcome for every ball is you play the story out, the journey of the ball. So is it legal delivery or not? Where's it pitched? Where's it hit? Is it going to hit the stumps? And you play it out logically like that. Of course, if it's a no ball, anything that happens after that is irrelevant. But as long as it's a legal ball, you're in play. And I think, crikey, one saying that is absolutely true, and especially came true in this example, was if you blink, you might miss it. And I certainly blinked and I missed it. So switched on as normal, bowler came into bowl. What I saw as legal delivery, going on, hitting the batter on the pads, in line with the stumps. It was going on to hit the wickets, and I gave it out. I instantly regretted it because sometimes people won't be happy at being given out. Bowler's side won't be happy if you give the batsman not out, but in this occasion, just purely from the reaction of the batsman, the non-striker and the entire field, I knew that I'd missed a thick inside edge, but I'd already given this guy out, and I didn't actually hear or see the edge. I just knew it happened because at that instance, I'd blinked and I'd missed it. So that was a real regret, and believe me, I got a right serve from the batsman that I'd just given out as he walked off. I think it felt like he took about 45 minutes to walk off the ground, and every other word that he threw at me began either an F or a B. But I got over it, and after the game he came up to me and sort of said, "Umpire, it was a shocking decision, but I appreciate you make them and we move on," which I was really appreciative of. And I don't think I actually reported him. But that was just my shocking experience of where I thought I was perfectly competent, probably quite a high performer in the league. And I absolutely delivered a shocker on that day. So just, if any umpires are watching, new umpires, experienced umpires, people who are thinking about it, we get it. We get that you're going to make decisions, but don't try and second guess yourself. Stick to your decisions. I think that's ultimately what we look for in officials is to just stand by your decision. If it's a bad one, we'll get over it. It's a game. It's an amateur game. Saying that, we do see a lot of increased competition. People want to win, and even the amateur game is a game very, very competitive. So a boost towards officials is something that we should really keep an eye on and stamp out. Umpires need to stamp down it quickly, and players, just check yourselves, guys. When you get a bad decision, move on, walk off, or get back to your bowling mark and get on with the game. Like David Lloyd used to say, get on with the game. But like I said, for as competitive and ferocious as the amateur game can become, and I umpired in sort of Division 1 and the Premier League in South Yorkshire Division, which is very competitive. You'd often see ex-pros, semi-pros, and people have been around the leagues, operating at a top level for a very long time, even seeing sort of county players. Okay, so I think you get the message. We're all human, we make mistakes, be professional, move on. Don't let the competitiveness of the game get in the way that we're humans, and it's an amateur game, and it's only cricket. Let's not forget that. I think as Mitchell Johnson once said to Jimmy Anderson in the centre, Jimmy was having a go at Mitchell and he said, Jimmy, it's only cricket, mate, it's only cricket. Not sure how well James Anderson took that at that point, but I liked Mitchell Johnson. Ferocious, but a decent bloke, I think. So I mentioned earlier about when only one umpire turns up, and that could be for a number of reasons. And we have to deal with that. We know we're going to get the same umpire officiating at either end. And what normally happens is the batting team will volunteer somebody from the team who's perhaps lower down the order, who's already batted, and they'll say, Rob, go out and do a square leg for 10 overs. And I never knew anybody that liked doing it, but for me, it was something a little bit different. So I didn't mind doing my 10 overs. So I'd go out, square leg to square leg, and just give the line decisions. And I'd say, yeah, if you're asked to do it, just do it. Don't make it hard for your own team. Everybody should do their bit. Unfortunately, we haven't got two officials, but we need that line to have some eyes on it. Other than this one example, when I think I was playing at a club, shout out to Rockingham Colliery Cricket Club, by the way, in the South Yorkshire League. Hello everyone there. I'm pretty sure I was wicket keeping that day, and we'd got one umpire. The bowler was just about to run in. I looked to square leg because I'm checking out the field. I looked to square leg umpire. Batting side has sent this young lad out, teenager, not that means anything, but young lad, and he's on his phone. The bowler's running in, and the square leg umpire's texting away or checking his socials or something, and I just stopped the game, and I thought that was ridiculous. So yeah, that wasn't great, but that was just my personal experience. But other than that, you just want your square leg volunteers to give honest decisions from what they see on that line, in stumpings and run-outs, etc. And just before I wind this video up, it's only a short one today, but just before I wind this one up, I'd just like to mention this book. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's Tom Smith's New Cricket Umpiring and Scoring book. This is an old edition that I've got. You'll find it all the usual places, Amazon, eBay, that sort of stuff. And there's no affiliate links or anything like this on this video. But again, the Tom Smith's guide is, I would say, essential for anybody that isn't fully abreast of the rules of the game. And what I see with umpires is many challenges and disagreements are purely because the player doesn't understand the rules of the game. The umpire should absolutely know the game, and if they don't, they've always got Tom Smith to help them out. So get yourselves a copy. It's not an expensive book, it won't be. Get yourselves a copy and just familiarise yourself with the rules of the game, especially, I would say, when games get called off, how points are divided up, and the LBW rule. Amazing how many bowlers that have been around for decades still don't understand the LBW rule, and that causes a lot of friction. So back yourself up and go back to school on this. Okay, so I'm going to draw today's play to a close, and I think the overall message is, I've been talking about umpires and my own personal experience there. I'd love for you to share your experiences. Ask me some questions, leave me some comments, do all the likes and subscribes and all that business, but just reach out. That's the basic thing. If you're watching this video, you could hit that like button, but just drop me a comment. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. But like I said, I'm drawing this to a close, and the one message is, let's do everything we can to continue to uphold the spirit of the game. We all know what that means, but do we actually practice it when we're out there on the ground being competitive? Let's support the officials. Let's understand other humans. I'll repeat myself. Uphold the spirit of the game. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you later.